And then once it does, I muted myself, so I'm not getting there. Now I can share my screen. Hello, people. Caroline's here. I'm sharing my screen. Do. Share screen options. Oh, wait, nope, that's not what I want. One of these days, I'm gonna pull it together. I really will. More. Where's the share button? There it is. Share.
Hello, Candice.
Hello. All right, I think I got it. No, I don't. Come on. You can do it, computer. You want to share. You know you want to. Let's try it again. Oh, always, always. Okay, if you are here in my Zoom room, then you know what I'm going through. If you're watching via YouTube, then you know what can I say? We're just having a moment over here, tech-wise. It doesn't want to share. Let's see. That's problematic. Boom. Okay. There we go. We got it to work. Yay. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope you are doing well now that I have my life together. I'm having a week of tech. A week of tech. All I want is working technology and some working cable. Is that too much to ask for in 2025? But hopefully, you all are having a better time with your tech and everything like that. So let's get right into it. We're going to start with number 65 here. I do believe that you all can see that. Yay. Let me make this here. And then let me pull
Hi,
up.
Candice.
Hi, Elena. There we go. We have this showing here. We have this here. There's got to be an easier way. There just has to be an easier way. Okay, we'll just do this, that right there. Boom. Now I can see and I can pop out. Boom. Okay. We are good. Oh, look, we've got people on YouTube. Hey. So, yes, you can see. Yay. Okay, pulling it together. Hey, it's just 7. I'm on time. So, let's hit it with number 65. Which of the following phrases is not? So, that's a big fat not. We're looking for not discriminatory in an advertisement to lease a non-exempt 100 unit apartment complex under the Federal Fair Housing Act. So that means 3 of these are going to be bad, and one of these is going to be good. 3 of these will be discriminatory, so we'll give it a D, and the other one will not get a D. So, no handicap alterations will be made. I think we can all agree. Can I zoom out a little bit more? Like, oh,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
see.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
Okay, let me try this again. Boom. Let's try this again. There we go. Does that work? Let's see.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yay. Hey, Tricks. I got you, Nino. I got you. It's a little bit of a delay, but I think it's bigger now. Boom. Yay. I'm telling y'all, I don't know what technology god I pissed off in the last week, but I'm sorry, technology person. Fix it. Oh gosh. So we know this is discriminatory. I mean, we know we can't say no handicap alterations. You know that as the landlord, you have to allow reasonable modifications at their expense, and you know that you can ask them to put it back, so it's not A. B, adults only, no children. I know y'all know that one. You can't say that. C, no smoking on the premises. Now I see some of you all, Caroline, you said C, right? And I think this is the answer too, but let's just double check.
I think too. It's C for sure because
Mhm.
females only also is discrimination. You can discriminate about like only
You
females.
can't say only men, only women. What about the men, right? Francisco says C. Yep, our answer is C. You all know that. We got it right, even though I don't need to check it to see. All right, number 66. In which real estate closing must a HUD, Uniform Settlement Statement, be used? Ooh, good question. In which real estate closing must a HUD Uniform Settlement Statement be used? Is it A, a cash transaction on the sale of a single family dwelling? B, a commercial sale funded by a federally chartered bank? C, a 1 to 4 family home with a federally related loan? Or D, agricultural vacant land purchased with a federally backed loan?
I think it's C,
Okay, you say C.
for sure.
Okay, now the answer is C. The answer is C, but I'm going to put a big fat, but this is old. Right? Remember and I don't know, there's no date in this thing. Is there a date here? I don't see a date. But when this was written, yeah, that's true. We would have called it the Uniform Settlement Statement. The HUD Uniform Settlement Statement had to be used. That's because of RESPA. And that was pre-2016. Now we know RESPA had a baby with the Truth in Lending Act to come up with So you don't use the HUD Uniform Settlement Statement anymore. We use what's called the CD. So old question, but yes, you all got it right. Right? You're not going to use a HUD Uniform Settlement Statement. That's what it used to be called, a HUD 1. Now we call it the CD, the closing disclosure. But y'all got it right, so I love it. All right, number 67. And I see y'all over there in YouTube land, all those C's. And you know what? For YouTube land getting it right, I have to do this. Wait, I have to share my sound before I do that. Let's do it this way. I am. Boom. Okay. Now the answer was C for.
I like carrots, and you should too. It goes crunch, 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 and it's good for you.
We like carrots,
and you should too. It goes
crunch, crunch, crunch. Ah, that song makes me happy. What can I say? All right, 67. Which of the following statements concerning an easement is true?
It's
We're
D
looking
for
for
sure.
the one that is. Okay, let me finish reading. Let's go through it. Let's see. So that means we're going to have 3 false and 1 true. An easement is always a pertinent. Francisco, I love that song too. No, easements aren't always a pertinent because you could have an easement and gross. So you could have a commercial easement or a personal easement. That's not true. An easement is an estate at sufferance. Nope. Because we know this estate at sufferance is for leasing. That's not the same. An easement is the right to cross or use, and an estate means you have the right to live there. They both tell you that somebody has an interest in the land. It's just one says the interest is I can live there. The other is an interest, oh, I can use it. It's kind of like if I say the word family. If I say your family, you don't know if that person's my brother or my uncle. So it means I'm related. But what does that mean? You need more. All right. I see D for dog. Yeah. And I see the C. I see there the C for cookie. An easement can only be created by a deed. No. Why is that wrong? It's this only word here, right? Only is the problem. Right? Only is the problem. Why? Because we know we can create an easement by prescription. Or there could be an implied easement. So it's this only that gives us a problem. That means D should be our answer. An easement appurtenant runs with the land. Yep. Because we know that's what an appurtenance means. Hey. And Tricks, because she gets my 13-year-old boy sense of humor, the answer is D's, and she's giving me the nuts.
Under the sea.
Love that you all get my humor. I really do. I just really do. All right.
Candice, you forgot under the sea.
Oh my God, I didn't play it. Thank you, Elena. Here we go.
Under the sea.
Under the sea. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Thank you, ma'am. I had to remember that. All right. 68. When a buyer makes an offer and a seller changes a few of the terms before he signs and returns it, that is A. Now, before we answer this question, because you all know some of y'all know I have a new hot topic. Please remember, this question and this concept only relates to real estate contracts. This is only real estate contracts. As much as I'm telling you, oh, we're learning contract law, these rules don't apply for other types of contracts. Like if you're under contract to buy, maybe I'm a hairdresser or something, and I need to buy a whole bunch of sinks or stools or whatever, mirrors. The same rules don't apply for contracts. So I'm loving that we're learning the contract law. Just don't try to apply it to everything. So for real estate contracts, we know if somebody changes a few of the terms before we sign, Nino says that it is D, a counteroffer. Caroline says it's a counteroffer. All
And
right.
also it's D because the original offer it's killed and the new offer it's
Yeah,
Gabi.
it's a counteroffer because we know we're rejecting. Like A is good, except and there's more. There's more here. When you change it, that was a rejection, but this is the better answer, right? Because the counteroffer is a rejection and more. It's not that. It's not a conditional acceptance. It's not a conditional. It is D. What other D songs do I have? I know I had some other D songs. We have Under the Sea. How much is that doggy in the window? That's our other D song. So yes, our answer is D. We love that. All right. It is a counteroffer. What are the chances you all are going to be tested on that concept of a counteroffer? 150%. Because it's such a huge part of what we do in real estate. You're going to probably more than likely start off representing buyers, and there will be counteroffers. So understanding that is important, right? It's important to understand. And Meryl, you said, I was wondering when they say a seller changes a few terms, does that relate to the price of the house? It could be anything. So if they make any changes to the original offer, that is considered. And then they're saying, no, how about not 350? What about 355? That is a permanent rejection of the original offer plus a new offer. So there you go.
All right. I totally got confused, but now I got it.
Look, that's why we do this. Much better. Rather you get confused here than on the exam.
Because I already memorized it is a counteroffer. That's for sure. But I just like the terms, any terms, so that doesn't matter. If it changes, it is a counteroffer.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem. 69. Oh, you know what? I missed my opportunity to go. 67. Why do the kids do that? I missed my opportunity to say 67. All right. And of course, I'm a millennial, so I just giggle at 69. Which phrase in a lender advertisement to secure borrowers would be in violation of the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, which we know is the ECOA? Which phrase is going to be in violation of the ECOA? Is it A, low interest rates and fast loan approvals? B, assumable note for future ease of selling? C, must be under 60 years of age for 30-year term loans? Or D, will be adjusted according to the number of minor children? Ooh, this is a good one. All right, Nino, you said C for cat, meow, and C is for?
C is for cookie. That's good enough for me.
C. We got lots of
I'm
C.
thinking C, but I'm still questioning it.
Okay, what are you questioning about it? Tell me what are you thinking it's
Because
between?
the D kind of sounds like it should be it too, but I don't know.
Okay, well, nobody thought it was A because we haven't said anything that would. We know the violation of the Equal Credit Opportunity Act is about no discrimination, right? So we're not discriminating against anybody in A or B. That's talking about the concept of the loan, right? That gets us between C and D. And what we know is that although the ECOA is similar to our fair housing laws, they're not exactly the same. Our fair housing laws protect the presence of children, familial status. That is not a protected class for the ECOA, but what is age. Makes our answer C. So everybody who got a C, like, I got it right. I got it right. Hey, I got it right. Do a little dance, do a little dance, do a little dance, do a little dance. Hey, 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 hey. Right? So C is the answer because age is protected under the ECOA, not children. It is a very similar list, but not exactly the same. ECOA is going to include marital status, age, and dependence on public money, public assistance. These things are included. What's not included is familial status, whether there's kids. That's okay. You guessed it, but thanks for the explanation. Good. Yeah. I mean, we want to make sure we understand it. We know Fred's corn would be familial status, race, disability, sex, color, religion, and national origin. And then we've got our ECOA, which I don't think I have an acronym for this. Do I have an acronym for ECOA? No, I don't. But let's see if I can list them. Let's see if you all can help me list them. It is sex, race, color. You know what? My brain. Let's ask Uncle Ray, y'all, because Uncle Ray was helping me with my friend's kids' homework. Algebra 2 is no joke. I was all about some Uncle Ray, how do I do this? And he did a great job. Thanks, Uncle Ray, because I felt really stupid in the Algebra 2 class. I don't need to know the equation for a slope. Uncle Ray, what are the protected classes of the Equal Credit Opportunity Act?
Hey, Candace. Absolutely. Let's dive right in. Under the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, the protected classes are basically the characteristics that lenders can't use to discriminate against someone. So that includes things like race, color, religion, national origin, sex, marital status, age, as long as you're old enough to sign a contract, and whether someone receives income from a public assistance program. They also can't discriminate if someone has exercised any right under the Consumer Credit Protection Act. So it's a pretty thorough list to make sure everyone's got a fair shot when they're applying for credit.
So it doesn't include familial status, disability, this is the R, religion, national. So there you go. There's the differences, guys. AI is taking over. Tricks, at this point, I don't have much faith in humans. So, okay, why not? Why not? It's okay. I'm down. All right, especially
Thank
if
you, Candace.
Oh, no problem. All right. Number 70. Ad valorem real estate tax is which type of lien? Is it an A, specific and voluntary, B, general and voluntary, C, specific and involuntary, or D, general and involuntary? Anybody got a guess? All right, Francisco says C. We got one C. Let's change colors. He says it's specific, meaning that it's against only one property, and involuntary, that means it would be you didn't choose it. Well, since this is a tax, I think we can all decide that
I think it's D.
we don't, there's not voluntary. So you said you think it's D, Caroline?
I think two. I think two is D because
Yes.
it's general and it's without consent. And without the consent of the owner, and it's involuntary for sure.
Well, what's the difference of our specific versus the general?
Specific is only for one thing, for example, for the house, and for general, it's everything. For everything.
For all.
Yeah.
all the
well,
properties.
A specific lien is against one piece of real property. And a general lien, general, so if I spell it right, is against a person. So let's see what else. Okay, Hannah, you said you're between C and D. All right, C, Negrete, you said it's A. Well, it's not A because it's a tax. It's not voluntary. But here's the thing, guys. In this case, our answer is actually C. Let's talk about why. Because we're talking about ad valorem real estate taxes. This is the taxes that we talk about, either mills or it's some dollar amount per 100. So for that one, who said C first? I think it was Francisco. Hey. It is C. Because let's say I own a house in, let's go with Michigan now that I'm here, Detroit, and I also own a house in Ann Arbor, and let's say I own a house in Lansing, the capital of Michigan. So this is house number 1, house number 2, house number 3. Specific liens mean if I have a lien on the Detroit house and I don't pay, they can't take the Lansing house or the Ann Arbor house. It means it is going to be to that one house, just like with mortgages. A general lien would be like the IRS. If I owe the IRS money, they could sell any of those houses.
And also, yeah, I agree with C because this one it's ad valorem, it's a property taxes.
Yep. So when they
According to
said
value.
ad valorem,
Yeah,
somebody
and-
said it. Vivian said it. According to value.
Value, yeah.
Yes.
And property taxes it's a specific lien. It's not general lien.
Exactly. And I see Tyler, you're asking me if you can get a copy of my cheat sheet. Of course you can. Just email me at CandiceEllis@gmail.com. That's all you need to do, Mr. Tyler. But thank you, Trix. And Vivian, you're correct according to value. But most importantly, I want to make sure everybody understands when it comes to liens, it's either specific, it's specific against the house, or it's general. Now, to make sure that we understand, speaking of the cheat sheet, let's take a look here. Recent files. What? It's not a recent file? Okay, hold on. Give me a second. I gotta find it in here. I mean, is that even in alphabetical order? Oh, wrong folder. Wrong level. Okay, this is what I was looking for. It took a second to pull it up. Dink, 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 dink. And even if you don't have the cheat sheet, guys, take a picture of this because it should help. Remember, if we're talking about liens, we're right here. They're either specific against one property or it's general against a person and everything they can own. So our specific liens are mechanics liens. You didn't pay somebody who did work on the house. They put that mechanics lien on the home. A mortgage lien means you used your home as collateral for a loan. And then, of course, our real property taxes, whether it's an ad valorem tax or special assessment. So there you go. Yes, and Tyler, I can add my email to the chat. Give me 1 minute. So there you go. All right, so just use this. I mean, again, even if you don't have the cheat sheet, take a screenshot of this picture. This will help you organize it because you know you get questions like, which of the following is or is not an encumbrance? All of these things are types of encumbrances, something that's affecting your use or the value of the land, right? And Samir, just email me. Email me if you need it. So, all right, back to the questions. Oh, it's getting messy. Which of the following would not affect realty value? So one of these would not affect the value of real estate. Now, we know realty is just another fancy word for real estate, whatever. A, permitted uses by city zoning ordinances. B, number of real estate brokers in the area. C, marketable or indefeasible title of a property. Or D, demand for property by qualified buyers. Who's got a guess? All right, Nino says B. Francisco says B. Caroline, you said D. Amy said B. Oh, no, you said B. B.
I think B. B.
Okay, we
Number of
think it's
real
B.
estate brokers. Yeah, I think don't affect numbers. They
Are
can
you
be
bringing
like,
home a baby bumblebee? Bringing home a baby bumblebee. Won't my mama be so proud of me? All right, you all are correct. Can't fool y'all. The answer is B. It doesn't matter how many brokers are in the area. Now, it does. You do. I mean, there are some cities where there's just tons of brokers. But guys, that is not to dissuade you to get into the business. A lot of people get their licenses, but not a lot of people are willing to do the work. Either way, that's not going to affect the price. All of those other things will. They most definitely will affect the value of real estate. And if you don't understand why one of those things would affect the value, make sure you ask me. Make sure you ask me. But I'm assuming you know why it would be demand. If the property is not marketable, that means, you're not going to be able to sell it to somebody else. And of course, if the city zones it, what residential or commercial, that's going to affect the value. How do we feel about math today, guys? Do we feel like mathing? All right, I'll do it real quick. If real estate property taxes are paid in arrears, what would the seller be debited on September 14th closing with an annual tax of $2,700? And we're going statutory method. And that's going to be January 1st through the closing date. Can anybody tell me what they mean by statutory method? What do we mean by statutory method? Well, statutory does mean by law. Statutory in general means by law, but when they say statutory method, we have an option here of doing
365 maybe
360
Oh,
days or
365.
365 days.
I think it's 365, but I'm just guessing.
Okay, was that you, Caroline? I think you said 360.
No, that was Amy.
No, that was Amy.
Yeah.
That was Amy. Anybody on Zoom have a clue to what we mean by it? Not on Zoom. Sorry, YouTube. YouTube, y'all already answered on Zoom. Anybody on YouTube? All right. Now, wait. Do I have it right? If it was, statutory is going to be the 365, and then this would be a banking date. Did I get that right? Am I messing it up in my own head?
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Wait. Okay, let's do it and check the answer. I'm like, oh my goodness, I've been running around. So if it's statutory, that means we're using 365, assuming I'm not going crazy. And this means in a year, if you've got January through December 31st, there's a closing September 14th. And it says the seller's getting the day of closing. That means we need to collect from the seller all of these days. That's going to be January 1 through September 14. Is it Claudia? Oh, I can't. Why is my brain breaking? My brain is breaking. You know what, guys? When the brain is breaking, probably because I was trying to do algebra 2. Y'all, I felt so stupid. Hey, Uncle Ray, when a real estate exam question asks me to use statutory days for a proration, does that mean they want me to use 360 or 365?
Hey, Candace, great question, and definitely something that pops up on exams. When they talk about using statutory days for proration, they usually mean applying a standardized year length that isn't the actual calendar year. In other words, most of the time, statutory or banker's days mean you use a 360-day year with 30 days in each month. It's kind of a simplified method that makes the math easier, and it's pretty standard in a lot of real estate and finance contexts. So if you see statutory days on the exam, they're almost certainly nudging you toward using a 360-day year.
That's why I was questioning myself. So we're not going to use 365. We're going to use 360. Banking equals statutory. And if nothing else, I hope you all realize this is so much to remember. It is okay if you forget something sometimes. I clearly do. So all that matters is that when you don't know or you're not sure, you ask. So we're going to use 360. So we know January has 30 days. February is going to have 30 days. March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So this is 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, and 14. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 30 times 8, which is 240. Is that right? 240 days? Yeah. 3 times 8 is 24, plus the 14 days here. So that's 254 days. Woot. That's the number of days the seller needs to pay for. And I'm going to take this 2,700, divide by 360, which is going to give me 2,700 divided by 360, which is equal to 7.5. It's $7.50 per day. And if I multiply that by 254, I've come up with 1905. 1905, which is an answer. There you go. Now, here's the thing. Do you all see how we got like a 1902 and a 1913 and a 1905? My guess is it wouldn't be this one. Well, maybe. It could be. I don't know if it's going to be more or less. But it's this idea. If you were to do a 365 day, it would probably going to be one of those other answers. So you could, my favorite Southern term, you might be able to guess it correctly. Or if you use 365, you might be like, it might lead you there. You'll get close, but it won't be exactly the same. But now we're going to press into our head, banking is statutory. And I'm just going to remember it like this, I think. If it's done by statute, it's done by lawmakers. And sometimes they're not very smart. And so they're just going to use 360. I'm going to go with they made it easier for them. That's how I'm going to try to remember that from now on. There we go. Answer C. Boom. All right, number 73, after I grab some water. John Fitzpatrick holds $800 in security deposits from the 6 tenants in his apartment building when he sells the building to Helen Baker. The tenants can expect a return of their security deposits from. All right, so there's $800 in security deposits, and now he's selling the building to Helen. And who are they going to get their security deposits from? Is it A, John at closing, B, Helen upon termination of the lease, C, the person who conducted the closing, or D, John upon completion of the tenancy? So when are these tenants going to expect a security deposit? Now, I would have said, I know a couple of things. Trix was like, she knew it was 360 statutory. I see you, Trix. All right. I know that when you have, if John has fee simple absolute, he's giving these tenants a non-freehold estate. That's a lease. And when John sells his leases, the new owner, Helen, has to honor it. Helen cannot buy this property and kick all the tenants out. Helen must honor these leases. So John is not going to be in the picture anymore. So it's not going to be the person who
I
conducted
think
the
it's a B because the deposit is returned after termination of the lease.
Yeah,
45
I think you're right there. Francisco and Cena Gree thought so too, and so does Amy and Caroline. Yeah, y'all are all right. You know it's B because John's out the picture, so it has to be Helen. As long as we know it's not going to terminate, we're good. Boom. All right. 74. An income approach appraisal would include which of the following information? Income approach appraisal. Is it A, annual net operating income generated? B, sold comparables within the same market area? C, replacement cost of structure and site improvements? Or D, building value based on a cost per square foot?
I think it's A for sure because it has to do with income
All right, we got an
and
A.
annual net operating income also.
Caroline says A. We got, I was going to sing the alphabet song for real, y'all. And I was like, wait, what's the second word of the alphabet? Oh, this is why I don't leave the house to fight traffic. Yeah, it's A. I would sing that like A. Then I was like, oh, what comes next? B. B comes next. But I think I'm just going to sing, I like to eat apples and apricots. I don't really like apricots. I like to eat apples and avocados, which we know doesn't work, but that's okay. Yeah, y'all know. The answer is A. That is our answer because we know we're going to use that. NOI divided by cap rate equals value. Good job, guys. Y'all knew that one. Vivian, is that a wow? I couldn't remember what came after A. Don't judge. That's why I say, y'all, if I can do this, you can do this. Because clearly my head's not on straight sometimes. All right, 75. Which method of foreclosure is used in a deed of trust mortgage lien? Ooh. Which method of foreclosure is used in a deed of trust mortgage lien? Is it an A, non-judicial power of sale? B, judicial court sale or judicial court ordered sale? C, a sheriff's sale at the courthouse? Or D, a deed in lieu of accepted by lender?
I think it's a B because it's judicial.
Okay, so we got one person saying B, judicial.
And it's
Caroline?
not deed in lieu because deed in lieu is like voluntary, and this for sure not.
Okay.
I agree with Elena.
I think
Okay, so we got B, another B here.
I think it's for like lien theory states, right? Not title theory like us. You have to go to court.
Well, okay, so we got two theories, right? You got lien theory and versus title theory.
So lien it's for like a mortgage, 2 person, and like another theory title it's like for deed and trust for 3 persons, for 3.
All right, so we know Title theory uses the deed of trust, and a lien theory state uses a mortgage. So if that is true, is our answer actually B? Do you need a deed of trust mortgage lien? So we're using a deed of trust. Do you need a judicial court ordered sale?
So I
No,
was in
no,
between
because
B and D because deed in lieu, isn't that part of the foreclosure?
Well, so the answer is in fact A.
Okay.
But let's go over. We need to, this is what I love it. I mean, I shouldn't say I love it when y'all get it wrong, but I do because that tells me what I need to explain. So here's what to do. A sheriff's sale at the courthouse would be connected to this. Like these two would go together. The courts would order its sale and the sheriff would sell it at the courthouse. Like those are connected. But those have to do with lien theory. Because in lien theory, the borrower keeps title. So now the court has to tell the bank you're allowed to sell the house. In a title theory state, you used the deed, which that looks like the word dead, but you used the deed, and that deed gave title to the trustee. And there's a line in that deed of trust that says, "Dear bank, if I foreclose, you have the power to go ahead and sell this because it's your property. I don't have to wait to go to court to do this." That's why it is A. Now, a deed in lieu, think it's kind of related to lien theory.
it's a friendly giving up the
Yeah, in lien theory, the seller or the owner, I should say the borrower, he keeps title, and the bank just has a lien, and that means they got to go to court, right? What if this borrower says, "Look, bank, you don't have to take me to court in order to foreclose. You don't need a judge's permission to sell this property. I'm just going to give you a deed in lieu of going through the foreclosure process." Because in a lien theory state, the house belongs fully to the buyer. And in order to sell in a lien theory state, the courts need to tell the bank you're able to do this. And the borrower could save a little bit of time, a little bit of money, and just a tiny bit on their credit by saying, "Don't foreclose, just go ahead and take the deed. It's your house now." All right? So, one thing I will say, I was going to say something, I don't remember what it was. I just want to make sure that makes sense. This is a really important point. Understanding deed, a deed of trust versus a mortgage, lien theory, title theory, you know they're going to test you on this. Right? So, Tricks, the answer is A. Yes, very good. Yep. 76. Oh, before I forget, I finally was able to get my Zoom and my internet together. So remember, on Sunday at 4 p.m., and that's going to be, what is that, 10, 12? I'm doing part 2 of the math. I now have the Zoom room set up and everything. So if you're somebody who emailed me before, email me again. I'm going to go through my emails and make sure I get everybody. But email me again just to make sure, because there's a lot going on there. And I will send you a different Zoom link for that. It'll be Zoom. It won't be live. It is free. So for my people watching on YouTube, if you didn't know this, it will be free. It'll be about 2-3 hours. We're going to finish the second half of the math thing that we started a while back.
So Candace, I have 2 different Zoom things in my email.
It'll be I made a whole new one.
Okay. All righty.
I made a whole new one. So this is all new. This is new. New. It's no other Zoom that you've used before. It'll be brand new Zoom. It'll be all clear, right? So yes, Sunday 10/2. I think that's or 10/12. I think that's the 12th. I didn't know. Yep, the 12th, 4 p.m. That's Eastern. So if you're PST, that's 1 p.m. And if you're Central, that's 3 p.m. And I don't know any other time zones. So, all right. Free. Yay. You'll email me. Yay. I want y'all to be there. The entity that loses ownership through a deed of trust, mortgage, foreclosure is the. So the entity that is losing ownership through a deed of trust, mortgage, foreclosure is the A, lender, B, beneficiary, C, mortgagee, or D, mortgagor. Well, before we do anything, let's uncomplicate the mortgagee and the mortgagor words. We know the mortgagee is never me. That's going to be like the bank. The mortgagor is me. This is the borrower. So who is losing ownership in a deed of trust, mortgage, foreclosure? The lender, the beneficiary, the mortgagee, or the mortgagor? Anybody got a guess?
The mortgagor.
The mortgagor, the borrower? Okay. If the mortgagor is losing, why? Do you get what I'm saying? Tell me why it's the mortgagor. Tell me why it's not the bank. Tell me why it's not the beneficiary. Tell me why it's not the lender.
Well, here's my thoughts. Because he's in foreclosure and he's the borrower.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't pay. So
And he didn't pay.
you're gonna lose the house.
Yeah, he didn't pay. Exactly.
Remember, well, first it can't be A. It can't be A or C. You can't have a double answer there, right? Right. And if we're going through foreclosure, the borrower is going to lose their equitable title. They're losing that. The beneficiary is that's the trustee. I'm sorry, I did that backwards. The beneficiary is the bank. Sorry. And the mortgagee is the trustee. So it couldn't have been A or B, but either way, the trustee they're going to have it. They're going to have ownership. Even if nobody buys this house at foreclosure, it belongs to that trustee still, basically. The borrower is the person that's losing in a foreclosure. There we go. Good job, guys. I'm proud of y'all. Y'all are getting it. All right, 77. Y'all know this. The 4 unities required for the creation of joint tenancy are either, some people remember TTIP. I like, that's a P. ITT. That's a P. Time, title, consideration, and interest. Competent parties, title, possession, and interest.
It's
Time,
D for
title,
sure.
legal purpose, and possession. Time, title, possession, and interest. Y'all go ahead. I know you know what it is.
D for sure.
This is a gimme question. You know you need to memorize this. And when you know either the tip or the pit, then it makes the question easier. All right, 78. After a purchase contract is accepted, the parties may make later additional agreements without changing the original document by use of. This is very picky. So we know that we have an accepted contract and you're making additional agreements without changing the original document. By use of A, a codicil,
And
B,
it's gonna be
an
an
addendum,
addendum for
C,
sure.
revision, or D, a contingency. Well, we know it's not A.
No, it's
It's B for
addendum.
sure because
Yeah.
addendum is addition, like add something in a contract.
We got B, so a B, there's a hole in this bucket over here. It's not a revision because you'd be revising the contract and it said you're not changing the original document. Why is it not D for contingency? Well, remember, a contingency is in the original offer slash contract, and it's an out. It's when you're giving yourself an out, like a financing contingency. That was something that was part of the original agreement. Hey, if I can't get a loan, then I don't have to buy the house. That wouldn't be done later. That would have been done when you first created the offer slash contract. So that's why it's not D. And again, I think somebody said A, but that's for wills. Codicils are for wills specifically. Although, Vivian, that would be great, but it's a purchase contract. Now, you're absolutely right. If this said will, when you're making an addition or change, that would be a codicil. But for this, it's going to be B, addendum. Good? Yes, and Francisco, you are correct. Inspections or loan contingencies. Sometimes there's an appraisal contingency. Hey, if this doesn't appraise, I don't have to buy the house. All of those are things that you would have decided when you first got under contract. So it's not about later in those things. All right, 79. A property manager should do all of the following except. So these are 3 of these things are going to be good, and 1 of these things is going to be bad. So so we'll put a true or false. This is a true, this is a false. Should they screen prospective tenants for the HIV/AIDS virus for the protection of others? Really?
Definitely
Hey,
not.
Trick says she thinks it's A. No, Vivian, I just want to make sure. Yes, A first. This is a no. You can't do that, right? All right. And I think you're talking about 79 there, that you think it's A. Francisco thinks it's A for sure. Amy said, oh my. I just said, oh my, yes. Yeah, I think we know that one, guys. We didn't even have to go any further. Now, usually I will tell you we don't just stop there, but that's a hard stop. For me, that's hard. You can't screen that, but I do like to make sure that I know the other things are true because I might learn something. I might go, oh, I didn't realize they could do this. And obviously, you could show available rentals. Obviously, you want to make the highest possible profit, and you can execute leases so people can live there. So I'm good with that. Like, all right. I hope nobody ever gets that question wrong if they got it on an exam. 80. When a property, well, you know what? To be fair, in the 80s, I mean, some of y'all weren't even alive then. That was something people would do. So depending on the age of the property manager, the person getting this test, it is important to make sure they know they cannot do that. But younger people probably wouldn't even think that was even like, why would you ever do that? 80. When a property owner leases his property, at the end of the lease, he has A, a reversionary interest in the property, B, a remainder man interest in the property, C, 30 days to terminate the lease, or D, a possessory right to the property. This is a good one. These are good questions. Good. I like them too. All right, Trix, you said A. Are you saying A for this one too? I think so. Well, is there anyone that we can eliminate? Okay, Caroline says A. Trix says A. I'm going to eliminate remainder man because when I think of remainder man, I think of life estates. Hey, I'm going to give my property to Caroline as long as Caroline is alive. But instead of it coming back to me, I want it to go to, I don't know. I was going to say Christopher Reeves, but he's dead. I want it to go to Madonna. I don't know. That would be, Madonna would be the remainder man. That's to do with life estate, so it's not B. At the end of the lease, he has 30 days to terminate the lease. Well, it's the end of the lease. We've already terminated. That doesn't make any sense. So it leaves us between A and D. Francisco says A, and yes, it is for apples, avocados, and all things that are wonderfully A. This is our answer. It is a reversionary interest. He's getting his right to live there, that estate back. It's reverting back to him. So we like that. Yay. All right, 81. Do we want to attempt it? Let's attempt it. Lord helps us. An office space leases for $700 per month. The tenant has a 3-year lease. Your commission is 7% of the gross lease. What is your fee? Yeah, y'all need to know how to figure out fees. Well, we know gross means the total that comes in, not taking out anything. So if it's $700 a month, and I do that, that's going to be 12 times a year. And then whatever that is, I'm going to multiply that by 3. And that would give me the gross income. So I'm going to do $700 a month times 12, which gave me $8,400. And that's $8,400 a year times 3. That gave me $25,200. That's gross, and I get 7% of that, so I'm going to multiply that by 7%, which is 0.07. I got $1,764. That is our correct answer, A. Now, just so you all are aware, you could. There's nothing wrong with this. Something wrong with my Apple Pencil. Here we go. Oop, no. Are you going to work Apple Pencil? Ugh. You could say, hey, why don't I take $700, multiply it by the 7%, which would be $49 a month. And then I could multiply that by 12 and then multiply it by 3. And once again, I'm still going to get $1,764. Doesn't matter which way you do it. It's going to come out the same. All right, one more. Which fee does not have to be disclosed in a lender's advertisement when the actual note interest rate is mentioned? So which fee does not have to be disclosed? So 3 equals disclosure and 1 no disclosure required. When an actual note interest rate is mentioned. So I know because of Truth in Lending, when you mention most numbers having to do with a loan, you have to give more information. The only 2 numbers I can give that would not trigger TILA would be the APR and the sales price. So if I can see one of those answers, it's easy. So A says required down payment. B says appraisal fee. C says number of payments over the loan term, or D, monthly payment amount. Well, this time our thinking ahead did not work because none of those are listed. That's okay. It would have been great if it did. Now I see Claudia says B, Francisco says B, Amy, you all said B. All right, y'all are right. Okay, I don't know why I assume y'all don't know. You know what you're doing. Appraisal fee, because this has nothing to do with the bank. That's set by the appraiser. But all the other things, if you say a specific number about the loan, you know you have to give more information. All right, I want to do number 83 because I like the words. An owner who transfers real property through a will is known as the testator. That's just a fun word to say. A legatee. Is that a word? A legatee? Legal. I don't know what that even means. Devisee and a beneficiary. Wait, we did see the word legatee in here once before.
Yes, we did.
We did. And what did it mean though? Well, we know a beneficiary has to do with trusts. All right. Testator means like we're dealing with something like intestate, things like that.
And I think
Right?
it's devices.
Well, you know what? I gotta say,
Yeah, I think so. It's C.
well, I've gotta say it might be because it says it's the person who's transferring. So there's the giver, who is the OR, and then there's the receiver, who is the EE. Now, devisee, a device is a gift of real property through a will, but this person is receiving. Whereas if you're giving something, remember, to die intestate equals no will. To die testate means you do have a will. So the testator, if I'm thinking about this right, it'd be easy to go with devisee because we know device, but that would be the person receiving. The testator would be somebody who died with a will, and if you died with the will, then you gave real property to somebody else. Does that make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
can't be C because this is the person receiving. It will get you. I almost got by that because I was like, oh, devisee. I know device means will. Yeah, I do, but I forgot about that E at the end. It can't be that one. And that means because of the E, it's not going to be the legatee. It's got to be testator.
It reminds me of intestate.
Yep. To die intestate is to die with no will. To die testate is to die with a will. Now, do we remember where we saw legatee? We saw it in a question, and I was like, is that even a word? And this is how, guys, this is how I've learned all this stuff over the years. I see it over and over again. A legatee. Let's just ask. Let me look it up real quick. I don't need to ask Uncle Ray by the time I pull it up. I'm going to pull it up on my...
Yeah, because you did ask him last time. I remember.
I know, and he's going to be like, don't you remember, dummy? You asked me this before.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember neither.
No, Uncle Ray's not going to call me a dummy, but I'll feel like one. It's a person who receives a legacy. So it says, what's the difference between an heir and a legatee? An heir is a relative by blood, marriage, or adoption who inherits under state intestacy laws when there's no will. A legatee is a person or entity named in a will to receive a gift. So when you give it, okay, that makes sense. An heir is if you are related. I didn't know that. And if you just got it from a will in general, it's a legacy. Huh. Heirs receive property by law. Legatees receive property by outlines in the will. I don't think y'all would ever be asked that, but we just learned an heir equals a relative who receive property, and a legatee has to do with it came from the will. You don't have to be related. Look at us. Look at us learning stuff. And on that note, guys, it is 8:02. We're always learning something around here and trying to remember what we learned last time. I hope to see you all on Friday and then again on Monday. Thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for putting up with my songs. And I just love doing this with you all. I really do. And oh yeah, Maria, you all want to stay in the Zoom room and talk a little bit, you can. But everybody else on YouTube, I'll see you next time. I'm glad the 7 o'clock time is working better. Bye, everybody. Say
Thank you,
bye, guys,
Candace.
in Zoom.
Bye.
Bye.